My 13-year-old niece smirked, her voice dripping with mockery. Mom says if you vanish tomorrow, no one would even care. She tore into the wrapping of the $900 phone I'd gifted her. Her words slicing deeper than a blade. The room, packed with 30 relatives, erupted in laughter. Everyone but me. I gave a tight nod, my fingers brushing my phone. 2 swift taps later, every payment, every bill, every subscription I'd covered, gone. That night, I slipped away, cut all ties and disappeared, leaving only a worn black duffel bag behind. Inside, a single note echoed her words. If you vanish tomorrow, no one would even care. My niece's giggle cut through the air as she peeled the plastic off the sleek device, her delicate fingers betraying the venom in her tone. The living room buzzed with the chaos of our family reunion, 30 voices clashing in a careless symphony. A birthday cake sat untouched on the counter, its unlit candles mocking the fire igniting in my chest. My sister Karen lounged on the sofa, her eyes glued to her phone, a smug grin curling her lips like she'd just won a bet. Mom was in the corner, fussing over a pot, pretending not to hear, but the slight tilt of her head betrayed her silent agreement. Dad, nursing a whiskey, didn't bother to hide his amusement. He snorted, raising his glass. She's got a point, he muttered. The laughter swelled, a tidal wave crashing over me. My cousins smirked, and even Aunt Rita, who barely knew my name beyond holiday small talk, chuckled into her wine. I stood frozen, the fool I'd always been, the one who paid, who fixed, who was never enough. Thanks for the phone, Uncle, my niece chirped, already nestled against her mother, her eyes locked on the glowing screen. My pulse thundered, my face burned, and the room shrank, the air thick and stifling. But I said nothing. I just nodded like always, swallowing the hurt, playing the part I'd perfected. Karen glanced up, her gaze locking with mine. In her eyes I saw it, a glint of triumph like she'd orchestrated this moment, waiting for me to crumble, silent and humiliated. All right, everyone, cake time. Mom's voice sliced through, bright and forced, brushing the tension aside. But the bitterness lingered, coating my throat. I drifted to the kitchen, leaning against the counter as they clustered around the table. Candles flickered, wishes were whispered, and I watched, my hands balling into fists, my jaw tight. Beneath the pain, something sharper took root. My phone weighed heavy in my pocket. 2 taps, quick, instinctive, and every bill, every subscription, every lifeline I'd provided for Karen, for Mom, for Dad, they dissolved. My fingers moved like they'd been waiting for this, a choice I didn't realize I'd made until it was done. The room blurred, their voices fading into a distant drone. They laughed, they sang, they celebrated, and I was invisible. A bank account with a pulse, nothing more. Not anymore. I slipped out, no goodbyes. No one noticed, just as she'd said. I didn't head home. My apartment was a pit stop, essentials stuffed into a small travel bag. Then I paused, eyeing the old black duffel in the closet's shadows. Tonight it had a purpose. I filled it, not with my belongings, but with something else, something they'd never expect. I returned to the house, the party still a chaotic blur. No one saw me glide in, place the duffel by the staircase, and vanish. By the time they realized, I'd be a ghost. Let them find it. Let them choke on the silence. The quiet didn't hold. I expected chaos, maybe regret, but what came was a wildfire. The next morning, I jolted awake to pounding on my apartment door. No calls, no courtesy, just fists battering wood. Open the door. You think you can pull this? Dad's voice boomed, raw with fury. I stayed still, watching the door tremble like it might splinter. I know you're in there. You think you're above us. His voice broke, not just anger. There was fear, sharp and jagged. I didn't move, didn't speak. I was done with their game. The pounding faded. His steps retreating, a curse swallowed by the slam of his truck door. But it wasn't over, not even close. 20 minutes later, a text from Mom lit up my phone, a single line. How could you betray your own blood? I didn't answer. An hour later, Karen called. Her name flashed on the screen once, twice, 6 times. I let it ring. Then a message. You think you're so slick? We don't need you. Let's see how you survive without us. I read it, a grim smile tugging at my lips. A threat. Or a gift. That evening, I was toweling off from a shower when I heard a key scrape in the lock. My blood ran cold. No one had a key, no one but them. The door flew open, Dad charging in, face flushed, sweat gleaming. Mom trailed behind, her eyes wild, frantic. You think you can shut us out? Dad roared. Get out, I said, my voice steady, ice cold. Get out. Mom's voice shrill, splintered. This is who you are now. Abandoning your family. I leaned against the counter, still drying my hair. You didn't raise me, I said. You used me. Big difference. Dad loomed closer, his knuckles white. You selfish little brat, go ahead and try. My voice came steady, unyielding, a dare. His fist shook, but it stayed put. He wasn't a brawler, never had been. Just a loudmouth masking his cowardice. What did you do? Mom's voice cracked. The cards are dead, Karen's bills are piling up, the house payment, it's all gone. He nodded. Exactly. Everything I funded, everything I held together. It's finished. Dad's laugh was hollow, venomous. You think you're some big shot. You think we're lost without you. Shrug. You're the ones breaking into my place to grovel. Grovel, he roared. You think we're groveling. Enough. I cut in, my words ablaze through his bluster. I'm done. Mom stepped forward, hands pleading. Please, we're your family, your only family. No, I said, cold and clear. I'm done being your ATM, your fixer, your punching bag. Dad's face contorted. You miserable leech. I raised a finger. Get out. Now. Mom's eyes brimmed with tears. This is heartless. I laughed, bitter. Heartless is calling your son useless while draining his wallet. Heartless is treating me like a tool and mocking me in secret. Dad lunged forward, but I didn't budge. He froze, then deflated. You'll regret this, he growled. You'll crawl back. Never, I said, my voice iron. They stormed out, the door slamming, but their fading footsteps promised more. The next day they switched tactics. Karen appeared at my workplace, her face gaunt, eyes swollen. Through the office glass I saw her, and my boss frowned, uneasy, as she flailed her arms at me. I stayed seated, eyes on my screen. Sir, there's a woman here. She's no one, I said, not looking up. She lingered, her voice climbing, hands trembling, until security ushered her out. I knew she'd return. That night my landlord knocked. There's a situation. Your family's downstairs, causing a ruckus. Tell them to leave or I'll call the cops. He blinked. But they're your family. Not anymore, I said. From the window, I watched them yell, arms waving, until security dragged them away. But I knew them. I knew their stubbornness. And I knew back at that house, a black duffel waited for them to unravel its truth. The quiet was fleeting. I ignored their calls, their venomous texts, their sobbing voicemails. I skipped work, savoring the stillness, but I wasn't fooled, they wouldn't quit. Karen's messages burned with rage, blaming me for their mess. Mom's pleas followed, her voice fracturing as she begged me to fix the family. Then Dad shifted. His usual threats gave way to a chilling calm. A voicemail. Son, let's sort this like men. No games. Our team's playing Saturday. Meet me, let's talk. Trap. I felt it in my gut, but I agreed. I needed to see this through. At the stadium, the crowd roared, a pulsing beast of cheers and stomping feet. Dad waited in section 12, row F, seats empty around him despite the packed game. He waved, clutching my black duffel. I approached, steps measured, eyes on him. His grin was predatory, like he'd already won. Didn't think you'd show, he yelled over the noise, patting the seat. Ready to talk like men. Talk. I sat, staring at the duffel. Is that what this is? He leaned close, voice low. You thought you were clever, didn't you? Cutting us off running. But you left this behind. His fingers tapped the bag. We found it. And we know. Know what? I asked, calm as the breeze cutting through the stands. Your lies, your schemes, he hissed. You played the hero, but you've been hiding things. I nearly smirked. Open it then. See what you think you've got. His eyes flickered, anger, maybe fear. Don't play coy. I don't need to open it. I know you've been cheating us, acting noble while hoarding your secrets. I leaned back, the seat's cold metal grounding me. The only thing in there is the truth. The crowd exploded as a goal landed, but in our tense bubble, it was just us. His trembling hands, the duffel, and a reckoning. You're bluffing, he muttered. You're done. We'll tell everyone what you really are. Go on. I waved toward the stadium's roaring crowd. Tell them. Tell them how I covered Karen's rent for years, how I bailed you out when you blew your savings on cards, how I bought that phone for your darling granddaughter right before she said I was worthless. Dad's face twisted, eyes narrowing. Shut up. No, let's be honest. I pressed, voice steady but searing. That duffel's full of proof. Every dollar I spent, every debt I erased. And you think you've got the upper hand. His grip on the bag tightened, veins bulging. Don't you dare talk to me like that. Like what? I leaned in, eyes blazing. Like the invisible bank you always treated me as. The errand boy. Enough, he bellowed, lurching to his feet, drawing curious stares from nearby rows. Sit down, I said, my voice a cold blade. For a split second I saw it, fear flickering in his gaze. He loathed me, but more, he dreaded losing control. He forced a brittle laugh. What, you gonna fight your old man? Think these people will back you? I nodded at the sea of strangers. They don't need to. You're just a loud nobody with a bag of IOUs. His snarl returned. You arrogant punk. Smirk. I was your lifeline. Now you're sinking. He swung, his fist clumsy, trembling. I didn't move, didn't blink. He wanted a scene, a villain for his story, but I just stared, unshaken. His hand froze mid-air, shaking. I should have disowned you years ago. He hissed, voice cracking. You were always a leech. Funny, I murmured, so close I caught the sour whiskey on his breath. That's what I thought of you. His fire crumbled, shoulders sagging as the crowd's cheers drowned his defeat. I snatched the duffel from his limp grasp. Want to see what's inside? I called loud enough for gawkers to hear. Every cent I gave, every sacrifice. Eyes turned, whispers spread, phones lifted. I unzipped the bag, revealing a stack of documents. Here's the truth, how I carried you, saved your home, paid your debts. His face paled. You talk about betrayal. I stood, holding the papers aloft. You betrayed me when you made me your cash machine, when you laughed as they called me nothing. Stop, he croaked, sinking into his seat. No, you wanted drama. Here it is. I tossed the papers at his feet, pages fluttering like ash. I turned, climbing the steps past staring faces, ignoring his weak shout. You can't just walk away. But I did, his voice fading to nothing. They didn't quit, not at first. After the stadium, my phone erupted. Calls, texts, threats, pleas. Dad's fury melted into groveling by noon. We can fix this, be a family, he lied. I ignored him. Mom's messages oozed guilt. You're tearing us apart, we didn't mean it. I skipped them. Karen's text swung from rage. You're a spineless coward, you ruined us, to begging. Please, I'm scared, talk to me. Silence was my reply, my vengeance. They thought I was bluffing, but as weeks passed, bills mounted, and their allies vanished, they learned. The landlord called about unpaid rent. Not my problem, I said. Mom sent a photo, them in darkness, a lone candle flickering. We're finished, she wrote. I deleted it. One night, I spotted Dad outside my building, pacing, hollow-eyed, desperation replacing his old swagger. He rushed me, voice trembling. You can't do this, you're my son. I was your bank, I said, meeting his gaze. Now you're broke. He grabbed my arm, snarling. You're nothing without us. Pulled free. I was nothing with you. His swing was feeble, grazing my shoulder. He stumbled, gasping, pathetic. I laughed, the sound sharp, echoing down the street. You'll beg, he spat. I turned away. I'm done. That night, I buried my phone in a drawer, its buzzing silenced. A week later, Mom's shaky letter arrived. Your father's ill, Karen's unraveling, fix this, come home. I crumpled it. Their world collapsed. Karen's friends bailed, Mom's cousins ghosted, Dad got fired. I didn't care. I lived, cooked, slept, walked free. Months later, silence became my ally. I wandered the city, untethered, no guilt, no demands. One autumn morning, a street musician's raw melody stopped me. It wasn't love or loss, it was release. I dropped a 20 in his case, smiling for myself, not them. I didn't need them. I never had. The sun sank, painting the sky gold. I was free.